Ah, Tucker Carlson's been on Joe Rogan again, and what did he talk about? Aliens.
always assume that a lot of this stuff is nonsense.
Yeah.
Even the bullshit magnet, Joe Rogan, just wasn't buying it.
Here's what we know is that U.S. servicemen have died as a result of contact with or being in the proximity of these vehicles. And we know that because there are a lot of suits working their way through the VA system
Yeah.
where families,
We'll check that claim in a moment, by the way.
can't get compensated for the deaths or injuries to loved ones. And
Because it's all under wraps, top secret.
well, that's just a fact, okay, that is happening. So if there's, I guess, when there are measurable physical effects of a phenomenon, we can say conclusively the phenomenon is real.
Right.
And
Why did he start all this? Why did Tucker Carlson start talking about UFOs? That's what I want to know, dude.
so yeah,
But
I mean,
isn't
it is. I mean, I guess we're sort of past the point of like, is it real? Yeah, it's real.
it's real in that there's these things that are moving in very bizarre ways, and they have these propulsion systems that violate what we know about propulsion systems.
No, they don't.
Boy, when you
Well,
read
it is
that,
crazy if you
yeah,
if you read it. It's like, oh wow,
yeah,
and
a wheel
so
within a
and not
wheel.
just the Hebrew scriptures. Like it's all over every.
I think we're starting to understand a little bit more now about why Tucker Carlson wants to talk about aliens all the time.
The Vedic texts.
Of course. So these are spiritual phenomenon. There's no evidence they're from another planet. I mean, I think that's the that's the lie, that they're from Mars. Look, space, the atmosphere is really well monitored, right? Both for for defense reasons, but also because, like, it'd be nice to know when asteroids are coming. And there's no evidence, has never been any evidence that there are lots of these objects, these vehicles coming into our atmosphere from somewhere else, some other planet. There's no evidence of that at all. So they're from here, and they've been here for thousands of years, whatever they are. And it's pretty clear to me that they're spiritual entities, whatever that means. They're supernatural, and which is to say, supernatural means above the natural, above the observable nature. And they don't behave according to the laws of science as measured by people,
Yes, they do.
and they've been here for a long time. And there's a ton of evidence they're under the ocean
Notice all the head shaking, by the way. Notice the head shaking when he's making positive claims. I mean, who does that?
and they've been here for a long time. And there's a ton of evidence they're under the ocean and under the ground. So, like, with that fact set, what do you conclude?
When did you start having this opinion that they were spiritual and that they've always been here?
I think I know when he started having this opinion, dude. I think I have a clue. And it's when he realised there's this constituency of people in the United States with big bags of cash and attention, that there's these people, that this is now the Republican constituency, okay? That it's these people. I think that's when he realised that it's a spiritual phenomenon, dude. That's what Tucker Carlson is up to.
Well, I didn't know anything about the topic until 2017. And like,
Was that after the New York Times piece?
no, it was before. It was before. And the things that I saw, I mean, like, I was and am still a very conventional person. I
All
mean,
the head shaking, notice it. Anyway, later on, he explains to us who finally convinced him.
but we don't spend enough time thinking about like what that adds up to. Like, not good, actually, not good.
How many people do you think have died from these
I
things?
don't
I,
know.
I said we'd test that claim earlier, didn't I? You know, the claim, we know for a fact that people have died from this. Let's test that claim.
Like, not good, actually, not good.
How many people do you think have died from these
I
things?
don't know, but I mean,
And is
Oh, I don't know now. Now I don't know how many people have died. I don't know, and I don't know now.
it radiation sickness? Is it like what What's the
So the
cause of
person
death?
that I talked to, I interviewed someone who was a Stanford medical school professor who's out there and worth talking to, by the way. And
You talking about Gary Nolan?
that's exactly who I'm talking about. It was
That's exactly who I'm talking about.
by the way. And
You talking about Gary Nolan?
that's exactly who I'm talking about. He was effectively an expert witness in these cases, so he's an expert in brain injury. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Entirely credible person. Checks all the boxes that I.
Entirely credible person shaking the head again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Entirely credible person.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't give up that body language. And why? Why may he be shaking his head when he's saying he's an entirely credible person? Well, because he's not a credible person. I mean, this is one of the TV shows that he's just been on recently.
We have new, conclusive proof, testable evidence of alien technology. This renowned scientist confirms it all.
Whilst a lot of people want us to say, yeah, it's alien technology, we're not going to say that because that's a terrible danger.
We have new, conclusive proof, testable evidence of alien technology.
This isn't actually Gary Nolan. That's the guy who presented the TV show, but Gary Nolan is part of this thing. And somebody I want to put you on to is this guy, Truthseekers, by Stephen Cambion. This is a guy who wants to believe, okay, and is so fucking disappointed in the UFO circuit that it's full of grifters that he's made an entire channel about it. Okay. You just search on his channel for Gary Nolan, the guy who Tucker Carlson here is wanting you to believe, has convinced him that we're dealing with this real, serious and spiritual phenomenon which is killing US servicemen. Okay, Truth Seekers guy has just got stream after stream exposing all these grifters and scammers from a place of wanting to believe that all this stuff is true and being so disappointed in it. Gary Nolan and Dave Grush's new UFO cult. Stanford professor Gary Nolan goes full wackadoo. And Jeremy Corbell doubles down on 100% fake UFO. Gary Nolan, the art of the UFO softball circle jerk. The cult of UFOs. So I'm going to leave a link to the in the description to this guy, but he's like me, he's so disappointed in all these people.
How the UFO delusion works. And one of the ways in which it works is that these people are allowed to make absolutely fantastical, out of this world claims, never provide the evidence, and then never be called out for it. To my knowledge, Gary Nolan, who was involved in this, what I believe is a scam with a disgraced Australian journalist in the form of Ross Coulthart, who, by the way, has been caught selling at least 5 completely and totally 100% provably fake stories in recent years. One might ask themselves why a distinguished Stanford professor would involve himself in a scam to defraud the public out of basically attention, clicks and views. They used incredibly deceptive practices that we saw in the beginning of our broadcast here, claiming that they had conclusive proof of alien technology, all confirmed by this man. And then they cut to a shot, or all confirmed by this renowned scientist. And then they cut to a shot of Michio Kaku. There also is some questions about Mr. Gary Nolan essentially whoring out the lab's university equipment.
So you get the picture. Dude, so disappointed. I feel for that guy. He wants to believe. So do I. And this is coming, by the way, full disclosure, from somebody who is embarrassed to admit that years ago I saw a UFO, my own in quotes, okay, which I now question, okay, which I now rationally question. You know, there's this meme that at around 25 years old, your frontal cortex fully matures and you start to like think rationally. Well, I think there might be some truth in this, because I don't know what happened, but somewhere a couple of years ago, I just started to see through bullshitters and scam artists who I used to look up to, and just see that they're full of shit, dude. It's so disappointing. Anyway, where did all this UFO stuff re-emerge and start to become popular again? Well, it's basically with that series of videos released allegedly from the US Navy by an organization called To the Stars Academy, allegedly these secret classified videos. You're probably familiar with them. Tic Tac UFO, the gimbal video, and the Go Fast video. Okay. Nearly everything is built upon this crock of shit that is fully debunked, by the way, by Mick West from Metabunk. And I'll leave a link to this as well in the description, but he's comprehensively exposed these videos that everybody now relies upon pretty much when they're saying these things defy the laws of physics. We've got these videos of them skimming the ocean and all this type of stuff. It all harks back to this, which is a load of shit.
The Fleur video is most likely a distant plane. The video was taken well after the famous encounter with a hypersonic zigzagging tic-tac by pilots from the Nimitz. This object doesn't actually move on screen except when the camera moves, and it resembles an out-of-focus, low-resolution backlit plane. I don't know what the pilots saw, but this video does not show anything really interesting. The gimbal video is also probably of a plane. It's not rotating. What you see is the infrared glare of the engines, which is larger than the plane. It looks like it's rotating because of an artifact of the gimbal-mounted camera system. This is all a bit confusing, so I made several videos explaining it. Oh, and the aura around the plane, that's just image sharpening. It happens all the time in thermal camera footage. It's not an alien warp drive, it's just the unsharp mask filter. The Go Fast video probably shows a balloon. It's not moving fast, it's not skimming the water. And you can verify this yourself because all the information you need is in the numbers on the screen. You just need a little high school trigonometry. The apparent speed is just an effect caused by parallax. Over the last few years, I made a variety of videos explaining
Anyway, you get the picture, don't you?
the door to all this speculation. Hopefully I've cleared it up a little. Visiting aliens are always a possible explanation for any UFO video, but these videos don't show evidence of any kind of advanced technology. So unfortunately, the real explanations, while fun to investigate, are probably pretty boring.
Probably pretty boring. So you can see on Mick West's channel, he goes to great lengths to explain so much of this stuff, dude. Here's like another example of his work.
This UFO video does not show a pyramid. There's a triangle shape, but that looks exactly like an effect caused by a bright light being out of focus and a night vision camera with a triangular iris, like this one. Or a triangular lens cover, like this one. This effect is known as bokeh. It's also probably a plane because it blinks in the same pattern as a Boeing 737, and the ship, the USS Russell, was directly under the route for planes flying into Los Angeles from Hawaii and Asia. There are a couple more triangles in the scene. Those are probably stars, because they look exactly like stars taken with a night vision camera out of focus with a triangular iris. There's some bright lights at the start of the Pyramid UFO video. That's probably Jupiter and some stars because it matches exactly where Jupiter and some stars were on that day. They don't show up as sharp triangles because the cameraman has not zoomed in yet. But they look the same shape as the supposed flashing pyramid does when it first arrives. There's some points of light in the video that sometimes look like stars. They are not stars. They are random noise, stray electrons in the image intensifier tube. They change from frame to frame. They don't show up as triangles as they form in the image intensifier tube, which is behind the iris, so they are not affected by it. I first saw this video 1 week ago, on April the 8th. I instantly realized it looked like a plane from the flashing lights. And
So look, you get the picture. So the question comes down to then, why is this guy going around pushing UFOs, aliens, and then it's a spiritual phenomenon? And like I say, I think it all comes down to this. Basically, dude. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in all the people that I used to look up to used to get my news from and used to treat as reliable sources. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you.